You remember I used to beat the fuck out of you in the training camp? You little cocksucker. Hey, fathers, I am the man with the 10-inch cock. I don't want to say he's a fag, but he's a fag different man. Sheiky baby, I love you. Break your back and fuck your ass. Make you humble. He's a motherfucker piece of shit. Go fuck yourself. And Isabel was a beautiful lady. You cheap son of a bitch. You are too cheap, you son of a bitch. Yeah, look at the man doesn't shake their head chest. You know he wants to be fucking cocksucker, gay, fat bitch. I suppress him. I'll put him in a camel crash. I'll fuck his ass, make him humble. He deserves it. If you fuck with me, I'm gonna bring the fucking guy. I will not fuck your ass, even you a fight. Sheiky baby, you want to smoke the marijuana? I said if you have it, you want to smoke, I smoke. Moolah said, Sheik, I don't like that shit in the car. I said, you don't like it? Greg, let's stop the car. Get the fuck out of the car. Fuck you, fucking faggot. And I'm gonna come fuck your ass. Get the fuck out of here. I never respect that French faggot.
SmackDown, Vinny.
Oh, let's see. SmackDown.
Sweet, goddammit.
Settle down.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
I just felt like throwing that in there.
I know.
I had no real reason to do it. I didn't yell at you enough on Tuesday. I need to, there's like you have a weekly quota of being yelled at.
That's your opinion.
No, it's the truth. Everybody knows. But, you didn't get nearly enough on Tuesday, so I got to double up today, even if there's absolutely no good reason for it. And listen, everybody on the board, I got to say this. A moment ago when I yelled at Vince, that was the first example in a long time where I actually yelled at him for no reason. I just want everybody to know that when I freak out and yell at Vince, I think I've got a very good reason for it. It does not exist a time where I just yell at you and I'm like, I'm going to yell at Vince right now. I just feel like yelling at him. That never happens. I always feel justified when I yell at you.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
It's better. I could just be yelling at you like I did a moment ago, just for the hell of it, just to, that would have been with evil intent.
I see.
I had no reason to yell at you, but I did anyway, just in an effort to belittle you. You know what I mean? When I'm actually angry and I feel justified in yelling at you, it's like there's a homicide and a justifiable homicide.
Tell me more.
Well, if you let's say that you're just eating a burrito here, and this is amazing.
A perfectly reasonable...
At Club Chico, yeah. And I just this fucker, and I shoot you. That's merely homicide.
Okay, I thought you were going to say something else.
What do you think I was going to say?
Justified homicide.
No, it's just homicide. But if I was sitting here doing the show and you got a little randy, you know what I mean? And you jumped over the table and tried to rape me, and then I shot you, that in fact would be a justifiable homicide. So there's yelling, there's just yelling for the sake of yelling, there's justifiable yelling. And most of what I do to you, I feel, is justifiable yelling.
So if I, for example, am using the restroom and I'm late to the show...
That is justified.
That's like raping you, is what you're telling me.
Oh, no, it's more justified. I didn't shoot you because you were going to the bathroom. I merely yelled at you on the show.
Well, you certainly did not shoot me, that's true.
If I felt that you were raping me by going to the bathroom, perhaps I would have hit you with that guitar right there or something violent, but... I just thought everybody should know that. That's the difference between justifiable yelling and just normal yelling.
I've learned something today.
Yeah, you have. To give you an example of some of the great stuff on our board, folks on our board often take photographs of myself and Vince and make montages, photoshops. Sometimes some of them are very lewd.
Only once or twice, really.
Somebody had the temerity to take my head and Buddy Wayne's head and put it on a porno box.
A homosexual porno box.
That's right. I was giving Buddy Wayne...
pleasure.
Fellatio. I was pleasuring him. That sort of stuff's up there. That's kind of an odd thing to promote the site, you know what I mean? But
we got gay porn.
People seem to be amused by it. I don't know what to tell you. And also there's all sorts of wacky songs. MC Chico first appeared on the board. We played Brokeback Vinny last week, which we may play again in another couple of weeks. And somebody created this one just for you, Vince. I'm going to play it right now.
All you amateur DJs out there, someone get to work. Oh, that was cute. Someone needs to set that to a beat, please. Oh, that was cute. That was 17-star entertainment. Oh, that was cute. I want a happy tune and that young boy. That came out wrong.
You pervert.
For Christ's sake.
Vince.
Brian, would you please confirm that I am standing and applauding?
You are standing and applauding right now.
Oh, my God.
That is the great, great people on our board, everybody. Brent's been calling a lot lately, Vince. Be prepared.
He called me. I actually spoke to him.
What did he say? Give me the scoop.
First he wanted to invite me to some other holiday that involved a lot of alcohol. And
one of his Jewish holidays?
Yeah, a Jewish holiday involving a lot of alcohol, and I immediately shot that down.
That's Brent's big thing, is he's always inviting us to attend Jewish get-togethers, even though neither of us is Jewish, but go on.
And his next offer was that we could go watch the pay-per-view at his house for free.
I see how it works.
He understands he's banned from... I won't drive him anywhere, so he's going to be disappointed, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we're going to have to... We should break the news to him on the air.
No, I don't want to be cruel.
Well, that would keep you from being cruel. You'd be on the air.
How would publicly shaming him be...
You wouldn't be shaming him. You'd have to break it to him gently if you were on the air. Otherwise, you're just going to call and go, Brent, I ain't picking you up every weekend. Bye.
No, that's a horrible idea. That's why guys propose to their girlfriends at halftime of football games so they can't say no, because they can't shame him.
What the hell does that have to do with Brent?
I'm going to ask him to marry me. No. I'm going to reject him, you see. He's invited me
to kick him to the curb?
I'm going to kick Brent to the curb. He's going to invite me into his home.
I just want you to explain the situation to him on the air. You don't have to shame him. Just go, Brent, this is a deal. Everybody wanted to end your life last time you were here.
Including me.
Yes. We'll discuss it. A lot of people, Vince, want to know what's up with Brent.
Well, they're going to keep wondering because there will be no news on Sunday.
You're not going to go pick him up?
No.
But you're going to be responsible for breaking this news to him.
Okay.
All right. I'm just going to leave it in your hands. You can go read the board tonight and see what everybody else is thinking about it, Vince, because there are some people very happy with the decision and some people who are not. A man has threatened to not resubscribe if Brent is not on the show.
Well, you have a problem then, don't you?
No, you've got a problem. This is all in your hands. I made it very clear on the board.
Okay, that guy can quit. Done. Problem solved.
Wow.
Perhaps you thought that would strike a great moral dilemma in my heart.
Vince, here's what I don't understand about you. Why don't you forgive?
Because, Brian, I've forgiven Brent for every show he's ever been at. Here's the thing. It's not like Brent's a cool guy who had one bad night and so I fired him. I don't like Brent.
How can you not like him?
He annoys the hell out of me.
Well, he annoys the hell out of everybody, but that's who he is. He can't help it.
Well, then he and I should avoid each other.
This is why it's good that you never plan on being a father. You'd be the worst father ever.
I concur.
Ever in the whole world.
Children are better off raised by raccoons.
You have no tolerance for people.
No, none. Also, I'd be a horrible husband.
Yeah?
Really.
This explains so much about your life, Vince, and the failures in it, but...
You call them failures.
They are failures. You may not look at them that way, but the fact that you are not a tolerant man is a failure.
I see.
But what can you do? We'll talk about that more on Sunday when Brent's here. He'll be here. I just have this feeling.
If he's here, I'm not here.
No, I'll bet you will be. I just have this funny feeling. You never know. What if Brent took a bus out here?
Okay, I was bluffing about leaving, but I'm sure I'm not going to get him.
What if he takes a bus out here?
I'd be disappointed.
You're such a dick.
Fine.
It amazes me sometimes the extent of your dickiness, really. I understand. Look, I know I was ready to punch Brent, too. I was ready to actually physically assault him. And God knows I may have, if pushed a little further that night, the night he was drunk. He annoyed the holy hell out of me. Mm-hmm. I would have broken that guitar right there over his head, if need be. But I've since forgiven him. I realize he was just a drunken Jew. It's basically what it was.
Don't judge the entire people by Brent.
I'm not. He was in fact I can use the classification Jew because the reason he was drunk was because he went to a Jewish festival. And along with all the other Jewish people there, he got blasted, and he showed up here at Club Chico and made an idiot out of himself. And yes, indeed, I was ready to kill him. Mm-hmm. But he called and left a very sad message. He repented, he was sorry, and thus I forgave him.
Well, I'm not ready to forgive him yet.
What does he have to do for you to forgive him? What if he brought you cake or cookies or that sandwich everybody was talking about on the board with all the bacon?
He'd have to mail it to me. Him being there would ruin whatever gift it was. I just need a month off with no Brent.
If he's not here Sunday, I'm going to hold you to that. It is. You have said.
No,
it.
wait, hang on.
Too bad. It's been recorded.
Oh, you're a bastard.
You said it.
I know, but
I didn't say anything.
What I meant was sometime.
Vince, you
with no Brent.
Freaked out recently because somebody called you a liar. You said that's the one thing you can't handle, and you sat here and you said, "I need a month off from Brent." So are you going to now go back on your word?
I hate you.
That's fine.
All right.
It's true, though, isn't it?
That is exactly what I said.
We'll discuss this more later on, kids, but as of now, we'll see what happens with young Brent. How's it going, everybody? Brian Alvarez and young Vincent here, off to an auspicious start. We were talking about the TNA pay-per-view from this past evening. First off, the most important story, the story everybody has been wondering about, the status of young Brent Kremen. Everybody was wondering if Brent was going to be on the show tonight, and if Brent was in fact going to be here at Club Chico to recap the pay-per-view. And I'm stunned by the 4-page thread on our board of people going back and forth about whether Brent should be on the show or not. Some people have threatened to quit. Some people have threatened to pay me the $6 for the people that quit just so they can hear Brent. We've never had anything on the site that has been more polarizing than Brent Kremen. So I guess as we did the first time, and it failed so horribly, we're going to try it again. Brent, are you in fact here on the show this evening? Brent,
what did you think of the pay-per-view?
Whose idea was this?
He's here!
Oh, wow. Hey, hi, Brent.
I'm sorry. Sadly, he's not here.
No, there was no Brent tonight.
No, we've talked about it many times before. I don't think we need to go over it again. But I am vowing that next month we will have Brent on this show. And Vince has, and it is on record, Vince, stated that he needed, quote, a month off of Brent Kremen. So
those are my foolish exact words.
Next month here on this show.
The month I was referring to was July of 2008.
Well, fine. July of 2008, maybe we won't have Brent on the show.
Stand for that month now.
But everybody that hates Brent, you're getting a month off from him, so quit bitching. And everybody that loves Brent, don't worry, he's going to be back here next month for this wonderful show here. But with that all out of the way, I guess we can move on with this fucking show.
Hope there aren't any kids listening.
I'm sorry, Brent, I won't swear anymore. Opener. Oh,
what the hell was that?
So fucking annoying.
Oh.
Sorry about that, kids. That's, never get virus protection software because they're sending you, little alerts approximately every 10 minutes. I fucking hate that. So if I can find out how to stop it from sending those alerts, I will do that immediately, but... Watching a Como 4 News broadcast about a young man who saved the day in an attempted robbery. He tackled a robber at a Subway and held him down in a headlock, and that was that. So, you're turned down. We don't need you yet. It was quite the heroic deal by this young man who's now going to have an enormous ego. He will not be able to be stopped, but he saved the day, so thumbs up to him.
This was the greatest news story ever. That's why I couldn't tear myself away, because for those of you thinking perhaps this is big, giant, scary high school kid. No. This was a dork and his dork friend.
This dork would have whipped your ass.
Fine.
You know that's true.
Well, I've never taken down a robber, so
First off, he's got the courage you don't.
Well, that's true.
In the midst of a crime, he took down a robber wielding a gun. It did end up being a BB gun, that's true.
And it wasn't even actually wielding it, it was just in his belt.
And he had a knife.
They found that later.
And when you were involved in a crime, what happened? You did not get the better of the thief.
Well,
we're going to turn this right now into the Vinny V show. I'm going to turn down my mic. I'm going to sit back. The show is yours. I want you to talk a little bit about a very, very sad day in your life. And I will preface this by saying that I may jump in at any time. But I'm going to try and just turn my mic off. So, kids,
okay.
Here we go, kids. In fact, let's give you a little bit of entrance music here. Might as well go all out.
Sure.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, that's enough.
That's all you get?
That's real interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, here for your listening pleasure is Vinny V.
Well, it's too bad that song was short because it ruled. I don't know where that was or where you found it, but I request we play it every day from now on. All right, Brian loves the story, and frankly, I'm really not sure why, but here's the deal. It was, I think, June or July, it was summer of 2001. I was leaving work and on my way to the gym, which Brian is already convinced I'm lying there, but I was driving north on Highway 99 in Seattle, North Seattle, almost Linwood, and I was coming up on 175th. I actually remember I had the WWE Aggression CD, ironically enough. That was playing, and we came to a stoplight. I was heading north. I was just about to cross 175th, and I'm sitting there stopped at the light, and I noticed a man gets out of the car next to me. I turn over and look at him. He's a thick, squat Mexican man. May have been a luchador, actually, in hindsight. Had a long ponytail. Just a guy, and walks over, and I'm just staring at him as he walks over to me, and he grabs my car door, opens it, and punched me right in the face. And I was just stunned. And he hit me a few more times, and I was still confused and not knowing what to do. And mistake number one, in my panic mode of just confusion over this striking about my facial area, I pulled my foot off the brake and began to advance toward the truck in front of me. And my instinct said, oh no, a car wreck. And I slammed on the brake again and took time to put the car in park as the guy was hitting me. He grabbed me by my hair and tried to pull me out of the car, which was a bad plan on his part because I was still buckled in. So my head was being pulled strongly to my left as my body would not move due to the safety belt. Somewhere in here, I specifically remember this, I actually asked him the question, no, pardon me, it was not a question, it was a statement. Sir, I would appreciate it if you would stop doing this. Because even in moments of great stress, I am a dork. So anyway, eventually I got the seatbelt unbuckled. He pulled me out of the car, into the street, and he grabbed me by the back of my hair and started throwing knees at my face. Well, I blocked those. He blocked two or three of them. I started to get to my feet. He threw a forearm or two on my back. Now, I need to explain this scene more. This is like 6 p.m. There was traffic everywhere. We were surrounded by cars going all directions. People were just driving by and staring at us. And so we continued. I slowly got up to my feet. He was hitting me with all he could, but nothing was happening. And then I felt a pressure at the back of my head. He was pushing something to the back of my head, and his exact words were, "I'll shoot you." And I thought to myself, I don't know if this guy has a gun, but he might have a gun. If he has a gun and I fight back, he'll kill me. I'm driving a 1996 Toyota Tercel with 130-some thousand miles on it. I can actually see the frame of the car from where the floorboards have eroded. This is not a car worth dying for. He can have the damn car. So I raised my hands and said, okay, go ahead. And I kept my back to him. I heard the car door slam. I turned around. He got in my car. The light turned green and he drove away. I was standing in traffic as this man drove off in my car. Didn't really know what to do, so I got out of the way of traffic, and I stood there vacantly for a while. 2 or 3 other cars had seen what happened and pulled over. Ironically, about 5 cars back was a police officer, so he also pulled over. But before he did, the one car I will never forget, a little old lady drove up. She was somewhere between me and the cop. I don't know exactly how far, but she had seen the whole thing unfold. And she drove up and pulled over to the side and said, she rolled down her window and she said, "Did you know that man?" And I said, "I've never seen him before." She said, "Oh my goodness." And she rolled up her window and drove away. That was the length of her concern. So we had a talk, myself and the officer and these two other witnesses who stopped by. And they explained that they saw what was happening. They said I was getting up, and then suddenly I turned away. They didn't know why. Because they never found a gun. The guy was bluffing. The guy put his finger in the back of my head, and I believed it was a gun. And that's that. So that was settled. I had a black eye. And it was over. The guy, I don't know what he was on, but he drove 3 miles down the road where he was involved in a 3-car collision and wrapped my Tercel around a telephone pole to the degree that we later found wood chips embedded in my car. So that was annoying. Now, the story does not end there, not by a long shot, because I managed to get a hold of my roommate, Jim. He came and got me. We went home, went to pick up my car the next morning, first we had to find out what lot it was at. It was a lot way the hell up in Everett. So we had to drive out there. Now, I went there. My gym bag was in the car. My car keys were in the car. My wallet was in the car. My cell phone was in the car. My life was in this car. So we went in there and explained, my car was carjacked last night, and I just need to go in and get my stuff and get out of it so I can go home. And they explained, "We're sorry, your car is being held for evidence. They're keeping it for clues, for a trial against this man who stole your car." Keep in mind, about not 5 minutes later after this incident, he had wrapped my car around a tree, and they had pulled his limp body from my car. Apparently this is not a strong enough case. So we waited and waited. I think about 3 hours finally went by before we managed to harass a cop enough over the phone to come in and say it's okay for him to get his stuff and leave. So I got my stuff and leave. I went out and looked at what was left of the Tercel. It was a broken, just shattered car. And I managed to get my gym bag, and I managed to get my wallet and keys and cell phone, and I finally made it home. And then things still were not done. Oh, no. Because let me tell you something, folks. Getting carjacked, no fun. Not a picnic. I don't recommend it. But it's nothing compared to the hell of dealing with car insurance people and car salesmen. Because, of course, I had to buy another car. And that was a misery unto itself. But that's pretty much the whole story. Brian, was that all you'd hoped for? You want me to wrap it up? I'll wrap it up later. I actually want to know, because this story makes you laugh, and this story makes Buddy laugh, and I honestly don't know why. But you don't want to talk about it now?
God damn you, I was giving you the...
You were giving me the wrap it up sign.
I'm going to tell you why this story makes us laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Because you forgot the best part of the story.
Okay.
This is the important part. This is the key to the comedy. The first reason that we laugh about the story is because of the grandma part of it.
Okay.
That is 5-star comedy. And the real reason we laugh, this is why it's so funny, because this part of the story sums up your entire life completely. You're forgetting the key to the story, which is after you were attacked, you were beaten, you were threatened with death, your car was hijacked, your car was wrapped around a tree, you had to wait 3 hours to get your stuff out of it, you had to deal with car salesmen. Oh. The key to the story...
The insurance people?
You were sent a bill.
Yes. Yeah, well, I did mention briefly that the insurance people were held to deal with. Here's the deal. When you total your car, the car insurance people send you a check for the value of said car. Now, as it turns out, I got my check for the value of said car. And then I got a bill for the money owed on the car loan. Guess which was greater?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
You were fucking carjacked, and you had to pay financially for it.
I was out $1,000 when all was said and done.
Yes, that is why this is such an awesome story. If it were not for that detail, the great detail, this would be a tragic story that we would not laugh about. But the fact that at the end of it, you actually were fucked over yet again, it's just the life of Vinny V. That's why.
I suppose I can see a little humor in that.
There's a great deal of humor in that. Because you even called to tell me that story laughing at the absurdity of it. Believe me, Vince,
I probably did.
If the exact same thing had happened to me and in the end I actually got a bill, you would laugh.
No. You know why? I would be afraid of you.
Well, there is that. But
I would avoid you for months.
That would be true comedy. That's why.
I see.
That's why it's such a great story.
Well, that actually makes you feel better.
Yeah.
I thought you just thought it was funny I got carjacked.
No. Well, there are certain parts of the story that are a little bit funny. It's just the fact that you were a pro wrestler, and we always joke that you would have been fired.
Yes, if Bill Watts had been my promoter, I'd been fired.
You would have been fired immediately and such like that. But it's more the circumstances surrounding the entire situation. The grandma that abandoned you, and most of all, the fact that you received a bill when your car was wrapped around a tree.
Okay.
That's the story.
Well, I'm glad I asked you now. I feel better.
Why the hell did you... You never knew that before?
No. I thought you just thought it was funny I got carjacked.
No, that's the key to the whole story, is the fact that at the end you got a bill.
Oh.
That's the whole key. Who gives a fuck if you got carjacked?
Well, I was
I'm
against
sure you've
it.
been beaten up 50 times in your life. I never asked for the story of it. Did I ever go, hey, tell me the story in 5th grade where the girl beat you up for your lunch money? I don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter to me. Unless after that you got a bill.
Did I mention I hate you?
So anyway, that's the story, kids. And that was the worst attempt at a Vinny V show I've ever heard, because even then I had to jump back in. And
okay. Well, I was going to say, I don't know how you called it the worst attempt at the Vinny V show, because, folks, that's what the Vinny V show will be.
No, because I still had to jump in there at the end.
Well, to be fair, I didn't ask you in to save the show. I didn't ask you in to make the show better. I asked you because I wanted to know why that was so funny.
Oh. Well, now you know.
I know.
Okay, well, finish up then.
All right. So thanks, Brian. I appreciate you being a guest on the Vinny V show today. I appreciate you having me here in lovely Club Chico in this $7,000 studio and the $8,000 TV. Hey, it's Orlando. Orlando Jones is on TV. How about that? Anyway, it's been fun. I'd like to thank Granny for not being here, Buddy for laughing at me for being carjacked. I'd really like to thank Brent for not being here. Thank you, Brent, for being wherever you are. I hope you're having fun. I don't wish ill on you. I just don't want to be part of your life at all. I'd like to thank the listeners. All of you guys have been great. I'd like to thank the guys who thought this would be a good idea. All the guys who thought this would be a bad idea. I tend to agree with you, but thank you, too. Am I forgetting anyone? I think I'm good. So, let's play that kick-ass song again. Good night, everyone.
Hello?
I love you, won't you tell me your name?
Hello?
I love you, let me jump in your game.
Hello?
I love you, won't you tell me your name?
Hello?
I love you, let me jump in your game.
Hello? 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 Hello?
No.
Hello?
Granny,
Mm-hmm.
what's going on?
Not much. What's going on your end?
Well, we're calling you. You're on the air right now.
Okay.
Hi, Granny.
Hi.
We haven't had you on the show for quite some time. The idea was we were going to do an Ask Granny show, but that ain't working out too well.
I don't think it would either.
We've got a couple of questions, but
Okay.
probably no. I mean, it's best we don't ask these particular questions. They're unfit for grannies. A couple of people goofing around.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah, you know those people.
Yeah.
You know how our board is.
Yeah, I know.
Shameful.
I had my ex-daughter-in-law come over for lunch the other day.
How do you have an ex-daughter-in-law?
Terry's wife.
Okay.
Anyway, she was telling a story about when they were at their drinking days.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
They
We know
went out,
nothing about that.
they went out to a party, and they came home and they were all really
Snookered?
three sheets to the wind.
Okay.
And they were driving up the road, and all of a sudden, in front of their house, here's their cat all smashed to bits.
Oh, God.
So then they decided, well, gee, we better bury it tonight. So they're running out in the backyard and stumbling around, you know, and
Horrible story.
so the next morning, she hears something at the door, and she opens the door, and there's their cat.
Oh, my God, it's Pet Cemetery.
So they, needless to say, to this day, they don't know whose cat they buried.
Wow.
So that's what happens when you drink.
Good. What will we do without you on this show, Granny?
Hey, and besides that, I just had some time ago, I had a little glass of port because Tony's mother gave me a bottle of port.
Of port. That's liquor.
That's
That's
wine.
port wine.
Okay.
Because she graduated into something that she likes better.
Sure.
Oh, I see.
I hope you're not snookered right now, Grandma.
No.
We may have to get you on the show one of these days when you're a little bit hammered.
Oh, well, I don't get that way anymore because it doesn't affect me as much.
Uh-oh. I don't know what that means.
Except put me to sleep.
Sure.
Oh, well, there's that.
But thanks for being on the show, Granny. You made the show as usual, so I really appreciate it.
You are the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess we will talk to you next week then.
Okay, I love everybody.
Love you too,
Granny.
Bye-bye.
Adios.
Bye. Well, that's the Bryan and Vinny show for this week, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.
I never know what Granny's going to say, you know what I mean? And sometimes she goes, I got a story. And I'm like, well,
oh, no.
It's been nice talking to you this week, Granny. We'll talk to you again next week. But she always pulls through, you know what I mean? She did have a legit Pet Cemetery story.
She did. I'm not sure how we're going to follow the story of people burying the wrong cat.
I think we should talk a little bit about the food situation here very quickly. Just what happened was, to preface this, after Sonny's party, we went to Jack in the Box. And this was the same Jack in the Box that we'd gone to after the New Year's party, and had waited in line for about a half hour in the drive-thru before we finally got up there to get our food. And we pulled up in front of the Jack in the Box, and there was a line, but it was not nearly as long as New Year's Eve, and I thought, what the hell, let's take our chances. Maybe it'll be quick this time.
Fools.
22 minutes. And worse, after 22 minutes, in the bag was 2 tacos.
Yes, Brian was going to try the Jack in the Box tacos for the first time. He asked me, how are the tacos? And I said, well, I hate them, but maybe you should try them for yourself.
I thought, can you really screw up a hard taco with just meat and cheese and a tortilla shell? I mean, is it possible to screw it up?
Actually, even there, you asked me what's on their tacos, and I said, well, I don't get them. I don't really know. And you said, ask. So I asked at the drive-thru, what's on your tacos?
Are you kidding me? You guys asked what's on a fucking taco?
And we heard
We'll get this answer.
the first voice, the first word out of the person's mouth was beef, and then in the background we could hear someone shouting, soy.
Beef, soy, lettuce, and something
else, tomatoes or something.
I forget what it was.
Tomatoes and cheese.
I'm like, soy? Who the fuck puts soy on the taco? It's 2 for 99 cents is the key. So I go, just give me the taco with just beef and cheese. So, and I mentioned this to Vince. There's a chain. There's a food chain. At the top of the food chain, there's your 5-star restaurant, Palisade here in Seattle, for example. And it goes down, Olive Garden, and then below that, Red Robin, and then eventually you get to the fast food, and then eventually you get to the 99-cent menu, which is pretty much the fucking bottom of the barrel. But then you get even below that at Jack in the Box to 2 tacos for 99 cents. I got a 50-cent taco and a 49-cent taco. That is as low as you can go on the food chain. I mean, that's like eating dirt. I ate both these tacos.
That's one step above ass.
It is, and I ate both of them.
And we were in this line for 23 minutes, and Brian said it was not a long line. I think it was 5 cars. That's not a 23-minute line. So we are just irate at this point. It was 12:30. We had an hour drive home from the party, and we pull out, and we're just silent and stewing and ready to kill. And Brian opens the bag and tastes the taco bag and pours the taco out of the bag into his hand and stared at it in abject silence for about 15 seconds. And I could take no more, and I was howling with laughter.
I couldn't even believe...
I was roaring. I almost had to pull over to laugh.
I couldn't even believe what I got. I expected like a hard taco from Taco Bell. Instead, I got a quesadilla the size of my fist, fried in grease and batter.
Yes.
But I ate it. That's the whole key.
Dude.
You finished one.
I am, in fact...
A professional!
That's right, a professional.
You finished the one, and you were like, I can't believe how awful that was. I can't believe I ate it. And then you said, that one's 50 cents, and that frightens me, because that means this one is 49 cents.
Oh, yes.
It's a penny worse.
Yes.
And then you ate that one, too.
I don't think there was any beef in the taco. It was all soy, I believe.
It's entirely possible.
Uncooked soy. They just poured some soy into it and put on some cheese. But anyway.
So that was Friday night.
That was Friday night. So Saturday after the MMA show, we decided we're going to... Actually, we didn't even decide this. We were all just driving home, and I was hungry. Mm-hmm. And I should note that earlier in the day, I'd gone to Red Robin and had the giant burger.
The Royal?
The biggest one they've got.
Okay.
The 2 giant beef patties and cheese and extra fries because you get free refills and everything like that.
I should add, I've never had this burger.
It's
too big for me.
I ate this whole damn burger and 2 baskets of fries.
You're a machine.
And I had a Snickers at the show. So we're heading back, and I just felt hungry. And I was like, anyone else hungry here? And you both said sure. We decided to stop at Wendy's. All right? So we go to Wendy's, and I am going to be the person at the window, and I just want you each to order whatever you ordered here. I'll start. I want the home-style chicken sandwich, only mayo, and 2 of your 99-cent nuggets. Vince.
I'll get your chicken strips combo with a sweet and spicy Hawaiian sauce and a Dr. Pepper.
Nails.
I'll get a number 4 with cheese.
And you got a thing of nuggets.
Oh, that's right, nuggets and with Coke.
That's right. So we sat there in line for how long?
Oh, not terribly long.
It was
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Okay, maybe I thought it was a little longer than that, but maybe I'm just putting it all together. All right, so 5 minutes. We were sitting there in line. We finally get up to the window. They give us 2 bags of food.
Mm-hmm. Stuffed with food.
Sure. So we get the bags, and Vince pulls out of the drive-thru window, and I'm looking through the bag, and I see 2 nuggets and a thing of chicken strips. And I'm like, Nails, get my burger out of that bag. To which Nails responds,
there's no sandwich.
Yeah, there's
no times, by the way, I said no sandwich. You kept asking, is there a sandwich in there? No.
Because I was completely confused.
You were bewildered.
Because not only was there no chicken sandwich in there was no burger for you in there. And
right.
I think you were thinking that the burger was in my bag.
That's right. Now, so I was starting to get mad at you.
Yeah. You're like, give me my sandwich.
So we finally determined that, in fact, we have not gotten any burgers. No home-style chicken sandwich with only mayo, and no whatever Nails got.
I had
burger.
like a 10-piece.
Yeah.
Actually, is what was in my bag.
Yeah, you had a 10-piece and I had a 10-piece.
Yeah, you ordered the Big Bacon Classic.
And we'd only ordered 1.
Right.
So anyway, this was wrong.
We were missing 2 sandwiches and a thing of I think of fries, and we had about 14 extra things of nuggets.
No, we had an extra. Anyway, so we go back there and we get up to the line dealy Bob, and we finally get there, and the lady goes, "What do you want?" And we're like, "We're missing a lot of food.
We're missing a bag of food.
We were just here 5 minutes ago. We're missing a bag of food." So they go, "Okay, just pull up to the window." So there was another 2 cars in front of us or something. So this was another. God knows how long, and Vince and I were ready to kill ourselves after the Jack in the Box incident. So we get up there, and the guy's like, the person in front of you, we told him to pull around and go through the drive-thru again. We never found out why he was supposed to do this.
They screwed up someone's order, and it created a domino effect where they had our food, but rather than pull around, they just took our food and left.
Well, no, like I said, they told him to pull around, but we never found out why they were supposed to pull around again.
No.
So anyway, we got up to the window, and they gave us their food. And then when they got up, they got our food. So the guy's like, "Okay, what'd you guys get?" And I'm like, we're missing a home-style chicken sandwich, only mayo, the burger, and this and that. So the fucking guy, the first thing he does is yell back, "Chicken sandwich with no mayo." And I'm like, no, chicken sandwich plain, only mayo. So he goes, "Chicken sandwich, no mayo." And so then the girl goes, no, only mayo. And so the guy yells, "Chicken sandwich, no mayo." And we're all in the car going...
And the third employee goes, "No, only mayo."
We're like, is this a rib? Is this guy...
Is this happening?
Retarded?
Buddy must be back there.
So then they start giving us drinks. They give us extra drinks. They bring us an entire extra bag of food. They go, "We're just going to give you this whole bag of food on us.
Yeah.
This is extra."
The guy was very nice, very polite, and I couldn't even be mad at him at that point.
There's an extra burger. There's an extra thing of...
We had hundreds and hundreds of nuggets.
Hundreds of nuggets, fries. So finally they give us our real bag of food, and we pull out, and sure as fucking shit, my chicken sandwich has got lettuce, tomato, and no mayo on it. And I'm like, we're just not going to turn around. I'm going to eat this goddamn thing. Ate that, had some fries, 2 nuggets, some of the chicken strips, and we ate like kings. But was it worth the bullshit?
Oh, no.
No way.
I just don't think it was worth the bullshit. So if you ever are going to the Wendy's in Totem Lake at midnight...
Don't.
Just stay home.
Yes, I was wanting the chicken fries on the way out.
Oh, my God.
Down the road.
This was the worst experience, really, for fast food in my entire life, this 2-day period.
Okay, over the 2 days, yes. The Friday was definitely number 1. The Saturday was certainly bad, but Friday was worse. And if you take it both together in just over 24 hours, I think, it was just unthinkable.
I just don't know how people like that operate in the world.
How do they get by day to day?
How can you, I mean...
Don't they like, get lost on their way home and wander in the woods and die?
Yeah, how do they not show up at the wrong address? Like, my address is 5505, and they show up at 5005, and can't figure out why they can't get in their house. I picture things like that happening.
They spend about 3 hours just trying to push their key into the lock, and it won't go.
Oh, Jesus. So anyway, that was the story of that, and Nails, with that, I think we're going to let you go, unless you've got any final thoughts on the weekend.
I have no final thoughts. I don't want to go to fast food with you guys anymore.
I do blame Vince, somehow.
I was there both times.
He was the common thread in both of these stories, so...
Well, we were the common thread, but...
That's right. But before you go, Nails, we're going to play one thing for you here.
Right.
A little something somebody made on the board. It'll get you out on a laughing note. Any other road stories, perhaps of that nature? Perhaps it may have involved you.
I got one as close to homosexuality as you can get. I went, Vince, I came here for you to fuck me.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He's a big guy. I mean, you know, with a heart on. Between me and you, we're about together the size of Vince, and it was brutal, right? And
wow.
I was sitting there with loads of jizz in my hand.
That is true.
What was that?
The road will own you.
Vince, you are so gay.
You are fag, you are punk, little gay.
We spent the whole drive down to the Pride Amateur Show making fun of the Sheik. Not making fun of, celebrating the Sheik.
Yes, we just over and over recreated his entire speech.
I have no respect for you.
Suplex him, put him in the camel clutch, break his back, and then fuck his ass.
Oh, it'll never get old. It will never get old.
It will never not be funny.
By the way, Nails, before we go, as soon as you hang up tonight, I want you to go up and I want you to change our little slogan on the front page to just brought to you by the Iron Sheik. That's got to be our new sponsor. So, all right, Nails, I guess we will talk to you after a while. Thanks for being on, and we'll have you back on soon.
All right, thanks.
All right, ciao. What were your thoughts on Impact?
Oh, it was the usual shindig with way too many guys doing way too many things, and it, you know, for example, the main event was an 8-man tag for no good reason whatsoever. But the big story was Scott Steiner cut a promo, and it was killer.
It really was, and what a coincidence that Scott Steiner should his finishers. It's the camel clutch, Vince.
Suplex him, put him in the camel clutch, break his back, and then fuck his ass.
Everybody listening to this show for the first time free, they don't know about the whole Iron Sheik deal. We have been playing Iron Sheik drops ever since Thursday when we played the whole Iron Sheik deal on the show, and it's still just as great as ever.
Oh, it will never not be funny.
It will never not be funny.
40 years now, I watched that Iron Sheik interview and laughed my ass off.
Iron Sheik did an interview, and he does not like B. Brian Blair. He hates him. He wants to basically
suplex him, put him in the camel clutch, break his back, and then fuck his ass.
And why didn't he do that at WrestleMania, Vince? Because he is
a professional.
That's right. And is the Iron Sheik not the greatest man there ever has been?
I never respect the gay. I never respect the fag. You was lucky, punk.
The Iron Sheik.
You know, Scott Steiner could use those exact same words. It would not be funny.
No.
I would wet myself in fear.
And by the way, everybody that has the entire Iron Sheik shoot DVD, we've only seen about a 4-minute clip from it. I demand more of it appear on YouTube. Or if nothing else, just please somebody send me the DVD so we can make some more drops, because I've never seen a funnier promo ever in my entire life. He is the greatest man ever.
For the God and Jesus and Mr. McMahon.
The Iron Sheik.
That's true. See, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm like Muhammad Ali.
You actually got to put your things on.
I can't think good. I'm glad you're intelligent.
Yes, it's cheap.
Reporter, Mr. Milani. You're right. Actually, since my wife double-crossed me, she stole my $18,000 from WWF. And I didn't care about my own wife, but she double-crossed me, break my heart, worse than Nicola and Hulk Hogan. I want to have a sex with him in Victor, and I want to say, yeah, I'd like to come have a good time. You use my medicine. Maybe we can have a little bit sex. I'm a man. I'm not that.
You're on the road all year, you know.
God bless you,
I
Mr. Maloney.
understand.
I'm not Michael Jackson.
Right.
I like woman, not in America, right?
Right.
So, and I asked Vinny Victor, maybe you and I, we can have a good time tonight a little bit, and it's massage you massage me, have a steak. She said, no, Sheik. And then she get hit between.
Right.
She used my beer. She used my medicine. I take her around. Now I want to get a little bit massage, a little bit sex. And she told me no. She broke my heart too. So I tell her, okay, no problem. Are you lesbian? She said, no, I'm not lesbian. I don't want to have a sex. I said, what do you mean you don't want to have a sex? I babysit you every night. I take you around. I give you my medicine. I give you my beer. Now I want a little bit massage. My shoulder is bothering me. My neck is bothering me. Knee bothering me. Can you massage me? Have a sex with me? She said, no. I said, okay. You have to be lesbian. And otherwise, what is wrong with me? You don't like me? You don't have a sex with me? Oh, who are you? Are you like that lady, very famous movie star, the one that she's
Rosie O'Donnell?
Huh?
Rosie O'Donnell?
Excellent. You are very intelligent, Mr. Maloney. She's remind me, Rosie, what was her name?
O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell. Good-looking woman, very pretty woman. Or another good woman, what is her name? Ellen DeGeneres.
Ellen DeGeneres?
Ellen DeGeneres. I tell her, are you the Ellen DeGeneres?
Ellen.
Or Rosie... What is that?
O'Donnell?
Are you Rosie O'Donnell? Are you lesbian? She said, no, Sheik, don't talk to me like that. I'm not lesbian. Well, I said, if you're not lesbian, well, you don't want to have a sex with me. Anything wrong with me? I'm the most handsome, good-looking man in the world, and you don't want to have sex with me? You are another lesbian like Rosie O'Donnell, or Ellen DeGeneres, or Michael Jackson. What is wrong with you? So then I get hit with her too. You're right.
I'm so happy to be alive. I'm so thrilled to be here on Earth, watching Bloodsport and listening to the Iron Sheik.
I have never laughed so hard on this show. And actually, the only time it's ever come close was, remember that show we did with me, you, and Craig? And we were fucking crying with laughter over a Leonard Jordan's Time Machine, and the thing wasn't recording.
Yes.
And so we had to record the entire thing over again, and we were still crying with laughter.
Since they found out ultimate word, he's another fag, another gay, another lesbian. He lost the face and he left. And plus he gave Mr. McMahon too much
What?
Whoever made that drop, you cut it off at an awkward time, but, yeah. That's what he thinks of Warrior. He's a lesbian.
A Warrior he was talking about.
He was a piece of shit.
Wow. Sheiky gets very irate.
He was a lesbian and he was gay.
Those of you that are not subscribers, you missed a hell of a show today. We had Don Maloney on, the man that interviewed the Iron Sheik. And, you know, I've been hyping up this show for a while.
Yes.
We had all the Sheik drops last week.
Make his back, make him humble, and then fuck his ass.
We had the Sheik all over the show last week.
We may as well rename it the Bryan and Vinny and Sheik Show.
That's right. Sheik was just everywhere on the show. Sheik was everywhere on the website. Sheik was all over the place to the point where people were getting sick of him. People were making songs about the Iron Sheik, using drops from this show. The Sheik was just monumentally popular.
As he should be.
As he should be. And so, to basically tell the story, I went looking for Don Maloney.
The one and only Dan Maloney.
I couldn't find him.
No.
Because there is no Dan Maloney. His name is Dan Maradi.
Oh, yes.
Not Dan Maloney. Iron Sheik just, I guess...
It's the best Sheik could do.
It's the best Sheik could do. And these two are close. Or they were close. They're not so close anymore, but they were very, very close for a long time, and Sheik never figured out that his name was Dan Maradi. So anyway, I thought, well, I'll try and get this man on the show, and he said sure, so it was planned for Monday. And I was all excited, and I put stuff on the board, and people were getting very excited. And then suddenly I thought, gosh, We've got some awfully high expectations for this show. You know what I mean?
I hope the show turns out okay.
I knew nothing. I'd never spoken to Dan Marotti before. We'd only very briefly talked in an email. And really, the only thing we discussed was we were going to talk about the Iron Sheik show, where or the Iron Sheik shoot interview. I'm sorry.
I never respect the gay. I never respect the fat.
And he also said he was going to tell the story of the Iron Sheik Appreciation Night.
Which we need to redo, but...
Well, what happened was, months back there was an Iron Sheik Appreciation Night with Millennium Championship Wrestling, and I had heard of it. And I had heard stories from many different places about this incident at Iron Sheik Appreciation Night. The Iron Sheik had gone insane. And I thought, wow, that's quite the story. But I never knew all the details of it. And when he mentioned that, I thought, well, we'll save that till near the end of the show, and I'll ask him about it. It'll be a 5-minute story or something like that. Everything will be fine. So about 35 minutes into today's show, I happened to ask about the Iron Sheik Appreciation Night, and Dan Marotti proceeded to tell a 20 to 25-minute story, which was one of the most incredible stories I've ever heard on this show.
Think of the ground that covers.
Oh, yes. And when it was over, I uploaded the show, I put it online, and I thought, that was a pretty damn good show. We're going to have to get Dan Marotti back on. I was happy. But still, I kept thinking, did it reach the levels that people were expecting? Are their expectations so high that the Iron Sheik show just cannot achieve that?
And what did the preliminary results show to answer that question?
The preliminary results are a large thumbs up.
That's what I understand, yes. People
calling it the best show in the history of Figure 4 Daily. All sorts of great, great things. And all I got to say is, thank God. Thank God. And I'm taking no credit for this. This was Dan Marotti's show. Dan Marotti was the one that was responsible for this entire show. I asked a couple of questions and then let him go off. He had some of the greatest Iron Sheik impersonations you ever heard. So, really, kids, if you want an excuse to sign up for the website, the Dan Marotti show this week. That's this week's big plug.
Many, many people on the boards. I haven't heard the show yet, but many, many people on the boards are calling it the best show you've ever done.
That's right. I was very happy about that. But like I said, I can't take credit since it was none of my doing. I just asked a question about the appreciation night, and he just went to town.
Yeah.
It's seriously a story that you can't even fathom it.
Well, I've heard zero stories about Sheik Appreciation Night, so I'm going in with an empty mind.
All you have to know, Vince, is just think of like the craziest day we've had with Buddy Wayne.
Done.
When he has been at his most Buddy Wayne. In no way does this even compare.
All right.
In no way does this even begin to compare. It is the craziest story you ever heard. So I demand you go home tonight and listen to the entire thing.
I guess I'll have to, because if I don't, then tomorrow everyone on the board will be talking about it anyway, and I'll have the surprise spoiled.
That's right.
So yes, I'm going to go home tonight and listen to the Iron Sheik show. Or excuse me, the Dan Marotti show.
Yeah, since we previewed all that, we're going to play a song right now. We usually play a song before the shout-outs. We'll probably play another song before shout-outs, but this one does happen to have a lot to do with the Iron Sheik, and we mentioned people making songs as a result of that show, so this is called Old Country Bryan, created by a great man on our board. The girl that was at the front counter, she was sort of tall, and she had two pretty darn good little matches to her.
Yeah?
Good-looking woman, very pretty woman.
She had a ponytail, and she had these glasses. She ain't listening.
You are fat, you are hungry, gay.
And I thought, God, this chick's just be appalled.
I respect your movies.
So I gave her my card.
That's the Brony Graham.
She's not sitting around. I glance up and she's gone.
It's a great feeling all the time I had all my life.
99 cents.
Oh, yes.
You was lucky, Tom.
I'm going to do that later. But,
okay, well, go get it right now.
You're not lucky. Oh, you're the one I was sick with me.
It left a bad, bad taste in my mouth.
Brent, you are another fag, you son of a bitch.
It's just as great now as when I fell in love with it.
I want to have a sex. Yeah, I like to come have a good time.
Thank you, Sheik.
Thank you, Sheik.
I never respect the gay. I never respect the fat.
That's Regal's music. Right
I know. But Regal's music was always funny, but it's the humor of the song is raised tenfold by the drops.
My body's ready, my heart's on fire. I'm gonna push it over the wire. Perfect timing,
Bloodsport. As I was saying, I thought I had seen this film before, and I had not. And after watching it now, I can safely say it's the finest cinema I've ever seen.
It
is a great, great, great movie.
Go ahead and read the back.
I'm going to read the back here. This may take a while. It's kind of wordy, but this is the VHS copy of Bloodsport, based on a true story, it says. And on the back is a picture of Van Damme doing his split-legged kata thing in the sunlight.
Von Damme.
Yeah.
It's not Rob Van.
Are you a martial arts fan? An action fan? Then you'll be a Bloodsport fan, too. Bloodsport is the movie that takes you where few have ever gone. Inside the hidden Hong Kong arena, where elite combatants clash in the Kumite, which is how everyone in the movie said it. The little-known but hotly contested world championship...
Why did you say that? Were you going to say the Kumite?
No, I was going to say Kumte, which is how, I don't know if it's right. They may be right.
Where did you get that?
In the song. In the song at the end where they're all singing Kumte, which sounds cooler. Okay, you disagree with me. The little-known but hotly contested world championship of full contact fighting. No Westerner had ever won the single-elimination Battle Royal tournament. That's what it says. Single-elimination Battle Royal tournament until the arrival of an iron-willed American. His name, Frank Dukes. His story, Bloodsport. A thrilling, true-life triumph of bedrock courage, uncanny skill, and unflinching loyalty. Starring as Dukes, and I'm reading here directly from the box, that's Dukes, as in put 'em up, is Jean-Claude Van Damme, a handsome strong man, previously cast as a villain in No Retreat, No Surrender.
Handsome strong man?
Handsome strong man.
I don't care you be Sophia Loren. I don't care you be the prettiest woman in the earth. I cannot sleep with you anymore. I cannot have sex with you anymore.
Sheik's telling it like it is, baby.
Oh, God. Van Damme's first headlining role is perfect for his appealing mix of physique, charm, and martial arts expertise.
That's right.
Perfect, too, is the film's colorful gallery of supporting players. Donald Gibb is Dukes' pal, a beefy beer-swigging warrior. Leah Ayres, I guess, is
How's it spelled?
Ayres. Sure.
Ayres?
Yeah.
Ayres?
Sure. Leah Ayres is the Moxie reporter determined to file a story on the secret championship that's like, quote, a cockfight except with people.
That's right. 1987, kids.
Yes.
20 years before its time.
And veteran actor Roy Chow is the ailing mentor Dukes has vowed to honor with a Kumite victory. Bloodsport pulses with the excitement of one-on-one competition and the drive of a man who refuses to lose. Because when Von Damme's Dukes steps onto the mat, Bloodsport isn't just a sport. It's a war.
Wow.
Oh, yes. That is classic stuff. That really is the movie. It's accurate. It's a scary thing.
What to say about this film? What's the plot? It's a man, Frank Dukes, based on a real man, Frank Dukes, who in fact was working as the consultant for Mr. Van Damme on the making of this film. Played a role. And I guess, what the hell was the story? He was going to fight in this thing called the Kumite.
It was an underground fighting tournament, and he was going to fight in it and win it.
Every 5 years in Hong Kong, there was a Kumite. And he was a member of the U.S. military, and the 5 years came along, so it was time to go to Hong Kong. So he went AWOL.
Yeah.
So they found the two most inept government agents ever seen in any film to go get him back. And they armed them with tasers.
Tasers.
Sure, tasers.
In 1987, these tasers, you could have clubbed a horse over the head with it. It would have been more effective.
It was the size of like a toaster.
They reached into their jacket for these concealed tasers and pulled out these 17-pound blocks.
It is kind of, I was wondering where those tasers were in their jackets. They were just...
One of these incompetent agents, by the way, was Forrest Whitaker, who was an actor who has gone on to some fame. This is not his peak.
Some fame in what?
Don't insult my intelligence!
What fame would that be?
He's done other movies. Name one other actor besides Von Damme in that movie you've ever seen again.
No one, but I want to know what fame Forrest Whitaker has had.
I think he was in Ready to Wear. He was
Never heard of it.
He's not Tom Cruise. He's not a box office star, but He's been around. Look him up on IMDb. He's been in stuff. I'm trying to remember what movie he played a retard in.
A retard.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we don't have any retards listening to this show where they're going to be greatly insulted that you have said such a thing about them. I'm looking it up right now.
I'm one of them.
Hey, you are. Forrest, how do you spell it? Like Forrest Griffin?
I think 1 R.
Well, we'll soon find out. It is 2 R's, like I thought.
Perfect.
Let's look at Forrest Whitaker's... I thought at least the white guy would have been Forrest Whitaker.
No,
the black guy?
It's the black guy.
He was not very impressive in this film.
No, I didn't. I mentioned that.
The white guy was a far superior actor. Let's look at some of the big films that Forrest Whitaker has been in. Different Strokes.
Wow.
Tag, The Assassination Game.
There's a classic.
Hill Street Blues. Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 1982.
Wow, he's been around a lot longer than I thought then.
Platoon, The Color of Money. I guess those are a couple of big films right there.
Why, yes, they are.
Fuck you. Body Snatchers, The Crying Game. A Rage in Harlem. Phenomenon.
That was the one.
Oh, that was the one you remembered out of all those that I mentioned, Platoon and such. You remembered Phenomenon.
Yes.
It must have been a geek film.
I
admit it.
No, it was not a geek film. It was when I was working at the Shoreline Community College newspaper, they sent us a giant press kit and passes. And at the time, it was like the first time I got to see a movie for free. It was a big deal. Movie was no good, but
Deacons for Defense.
that I do not know.
How about this one? Rebound, The Legend of Earl the Goat Manigault.
I am not familiar with either.
Yeah, that's the kind of filmography we've got here for Forrest Whitaker. Anyway, go on. I was going on, sorry. So they recruited these guys to go find him, and anyway, he showed up there, and there's a big, ogre-looking dude. It was Ogre.
It was Ogre, wasn't it? I think so.
Yeah, from Revenge of the Nerds, which actually I have never seen.
I've seen parts of it.
Think about that.
Yeah.
So anyway, he was there, then there was this hot blonde that was a reporter, who actually was not that hot, given usual hot blonde 80s chicks. She was at the low end of the scale, I think, but...
It's probably fair.
So anyway, here's what I got to say about this film in hindsight. When I first watched it, I thought it was great. I watched it so many times I have the whole thing memorized. I still pretty much had the whole thing memorized when I watched it here 15 years later. I do recall that when I first watched it, I thought Frank Dukes was the buffest dude I ever saw. I thought, my God, he's the strongest man in the world. This was before I saw The Ultimate Warrior. And this was before I saw men jacked to the gills on growth hormone, juice, the whole 9 yards. He's a fit man.
Mm-hmm.
He is not nearly as large as I remembered.
I don't think he's the buffest guy in the movie.
No, well, I mean...
Chong Lee's bigger.
Chong Lee's bigger, but Chong Lee's big and fat.
I see.
He's sort of bloated, you know what I mean? Frank Dukes or Jean-Claude, he's ripped to shreds.
Yes.
He did have that going for him, so... He may have been on something or other around that period of time, but not a whole lot of it. But Chong Lee, played by Aaron Bolo, the wrestler for Pinnacle, he
I didn't pass the medical test again.
Yes. So
yeah,
that's the story there. But anyway, they had this Kumite and Ogre. He fought for a while, then he got beaten by Chong Lee. He got a stomp to the head, and he was debilitated, sent to the hospital. And so Frank said he was going to win the Kumite for him, and for his sensei, who was very, very sick, I guess. Or actually, sensei was in bed when he may have just been hung over. It was never explained.
That's entirely possible.
He didn't look particularly ill. So Frank said he was going to win the Kumite for Ogre and his sensei, and so off he went, and the reporter, however, she went down with this human cockfighting. She went to the cops, and I guess gave the location of the Kumite, so the cops told the government agents where Frank was going to be at. They went to arrest him at the Kumite. He easily escaped their clutches.
He toyed with them, actually.
He toyed with them.
He taunted them.
He actually beat up 3 armed guards while carrying his gym bag.
Mm-hmm.
And then he used a trash can lid to reverse the tasers into 2 more guards, and then just grabbed the tasers.
That scene was so awesome.
So anyway, after he totally outdone the government agents for about the 3rd time, they'd also played a game of tag earlier in the movie. So he'd finally outdone them and everything like that. The chick just happened to show up at this exact moment. So Frank goes in the fight, and the three of them just decide, what the fuck?
They give up.
They went and got front row seats.
Yes.
Watched the Kumite. At which point they got into it, and the girl who had totally freaked out the night before was now clapping and cheering and giving the Google eyes to young Frank Dukes.
Yes.
I thought there was 20 minutes of time missing from this plot, but in fact, it's just Bloodsport. There was no
That's
time.
the correct answer. It was just Bloodsport.
There was no time missing whatsoever. So, I got to play a drop here real quick because I don't know what this is.
Hope there ain't any kids listening.
Okay, sorry about that. I see these things. It's my obsessive compulsive disorder. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I got to see what that goddamn drop says when I don't understand. So anyway, Frank goes, and of course the main event is Frank Dukes versus Chong Li. And Frank's running wild at the beginning, and then Chong Li gets the heat by throwing salt in his eyes.
He used a foreign object.
And Frank ends up hulking up, and they save the high spots for the end of the fight, these jumping, spinning, splits kicks, which probably Kung Lee in San Diego or San Jose never threw in his whole life.
There's also some lucha.
There was some lucha. Leapfrogs.
Leapfrog, a somersault for no reason.
That's right. And Frank won, and that was the end of the movie. Oh, and then he said goodbye to his rat.
He did. He
was like, see you, baby. Maybe next time we'll fuck again.
When I'm here to fight again in 5 years, we'll hook up.
That's right. You know, the other thing, there were a couple things about this movie. The main reason we watch this movie, everybody, is we all know what real fighting is now.
Yes.
We all know, what happened.
This movie cannot be made in 2005.
Oh, it could.
Or 2006.
It could. But it would be exactly like Bloodsport. It would be goofy comedy.
I see.
It could not be taken seriously in 2006. But they're making Bloodsport 2, you jackass. Perhaps you'd forgotten. With Fedor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you didn't know this?
I probably did.
Do you even read the newsletter?
What I write, yeah. Oh, calm down.
I'm canceling your online subscription. You don't read the fucking newsletter?
Yes, I read the newsletter.
Really?
Yes. I just forgot about Bloodsport 2.
I'm going to quiz you next week on this show, and if you fail, I swear to Christ, I'll cancel your account. You can just fuck around and...
I defend your newsletter. I'm the one who says people say they don't read it, and I yell at them.
Yeah, but it doesn't do any good if you don't read the goddamn thing yourself and everybody knows it.
I do read it. I just forgot this one detail.
Right.
Well, I'm not reading it anymore. I did read it, now I'm done.
Dare you.
Don't read any one.
Read the newsletter. I need a drop here, something like that, before I flip my lid. Besides, I lost my train of thought.
Very irritable tonight.
Bryan is sexy.
I feel a little bit better now. Yes, they're making Bloodsport 2, goddammit, with Fedor.
Wow.
No, now you're supposed to go, yeah, I just read about that in your newsletter.
I just read about that in Figure 4 Weekly 2 weeks ago.
You know what? We're going to have a little fun right now before we get on with this review here.
Why start now?
Oh, yeah, we're going to have a little fun. We're going to do a quiz.
All right.
A newsletter quiz for this week. If you pass, I will feel better. If you fail, I don't know how I might react. So you might as well admit it now. Have you read this week's newsletter?
I have.
You have read this newsletter?
Yes.
All right.
I may take a dive, though. Maybe more fun.
Oh, no. That would not be fun for you if you took a dive tonight, Vince. The cover story was regarding the Saturday night's main event show. What was my conclusion for the time slot it will have next time?
Later, the SNL time slot, 11 to 12 or somewhere around there.
So far, so good, Vince. I did a on-the-road live ass-kicking. What was the show?
The Super Mall show, the Pride Amateur fights, and your conclusion was that it went too long.
What was the funniest part of the review?
I'm trying to think of it. Where you made fun of me in there. The funniest part of the review. Well, I don't recall anything funny in it, actually, but,
You don't recall anything funny in the review?
Oh, you call me a pussy.
Okay, you're right. Good. So far, so good. All right, we're just going to skip forward a little bit here, because I'm convinced that you read the main stories. I'm pretty sure you read the WWE and the TNA, because you're interested in that sort of stuff. So I'm going to quiz you here on some MMA stuff in the newsletter this week. I have a feeling you're going to fail.
I did read this, and it's entirely possible I may fail.
You did read this, you say?
I did read this.
All right. There is a boxer suing another boxer for what reason?
Because he cut weight to fight and was significantly heavier than the guy. Something about weight cutting.
That is close enough.
Okay.
All right, fine, Vince. I feel much better now. I'm convinced that you did, in fact, read this week's newsletter, so you are greatly forgiven. How much I love these men. You could have any other two men. And if you actually had two other men, it would be even more perfect. That should have actually had your name in there.
Where?
Somewhere in there, because it's supposed to be, I was showing my love for you there, Vinny.
I see.
So anyway, where were we? The point we reviewed Bloodsport, and the reason we were talking earlier about Bloodsport 2, the reason I reviewed this whole damn thing, I'm starting to sound like the Iron Sheik here with the mumbling and that sort of thing. And,
Don't insult my intelligence!
Sorry, Sheik. So, the reason we reviewed this is because everyone knows what real fighting is now. And this was what people thought real fighting was in 1987. And the interesting thing was there were some similarities. There was a man who looked remarkably like Matt Hume, who was doing Muay Thai, and he went along fairly well in this little tournament here. There was, different disciplines and that sort of thing. The key of the movie, really, that I got out of it was all the fighters seemed to be one-dimensional fighters. There was the man who did monkey jiu-jitsu or whatever, the monkey man.
There was a sumo guy.
He was my friends' favorite when they watched the movie when they were young. They all remembered the guy who did the monkey jiu-jitsu or whatever the hell he was doing. There was the sumo guy. There were the Bushido karate guys. There was the... Anyway, the point was, Frank Sensei said, you must know all disciplines.
That's true, actually.
That was the key. That's
I
why
hadn't thought about this until right now.
He was the first Ultimate Fighter.
He was the first multi-dimensional fighter.
That's right. That's why he won the Kumite.
I hadn't thought about that until right now, but you're right.
I'm a genius.
You are a genius. You find the logic in that film.
That's right.
Which is amazing.
That is, and it was hard to find because they sure didn't point that out to you. So, and then you had the American bar fighter, Tank Abbott, who got his ass whooped, basically, after two stunning knockouts, much like the real Tank Abbott. This movie was ahead of its time.
You're making some great points here.
This movie was phenomenally ahead of its time, and I think it's a vastly underrated film. It's a great film for camp. It's a fun film. The karate sequences are fantastic. Some of them.
For what they are.
Some of them are wacky. But it's good stuff.
It was great stuff. We didn't even talk about the Asian stereotype assistant they had. Well,
there were a lot of stereotypes.
Well,
the black guy did the monkey jiu-jitsu.
There was the black guy did the monkey jiu-jitsu, but...
the fat Asian did sumo, the skinny Asian did karate.
I'm not even talking about the fighter. I'm talking about the short, mulleted, giant glasses, buck-toothed Asian guy who showed them around Hong Kong.
Yes.
He was the ultimate walking stereotype.
Well...
And he had a sweet mullet.
He sort of was. And they also had some money promos.
There were some money promos.
They had some money promos. They had some taunting.
There's a lot of... Everyone worked the crowd.
After Chong Li beat up Jackson, who was Ogre, he stole his bandana. And he basically said, you want this fucker's bandana, you have to go through me. That was that.
The only thing I really didn't like about this movie is that they talk about how Chong Li had killed a man in the last Kumite. He kicked him in the throat, and he died on the mat, and Chong Li watched him die. So then later, he stomps on Jackson's head, leaves him in a pool of his own blood, steals the bandana, and the next thing you see is Jackson's in the hospital. They're saying, you'll be okay, you'll be out in a week.
Why didn't you like that?
He should have been dead.
No, Chong Li killed another man later.
Yeah, but they
even explained it.
Well, he actually, right, he did kill another man later. I forgot about that.
Yes, and Jackson was like Mark Hunt. They even said, you've got a head like cement.
They did say that.
So he survived the Vanderlei Silva stomp to the head.
Okay.
So it all makes perfect sense, Vince.
Well, it does now. You explained it to me.
Good God, what movie were you watching? And the other key here is the rules of the Kumite. There were 3 rules, which I'm actually going to read to you here. I should note that the Kumite had one more rule than the early UFCs, so there you go. Although the Kumite did allow jumping into the splits and uppercutting a man in the balls.
Oh, yes.
That was not outlawed. So anyway, the rules for the cockfight, except with people, were, where the hell are they here? I just read this whole goddamn thing and I can't find it.
There's only 3 of them and you don't remember?
Well, I want to read it because there's a reason. I wrote them all down very specifically.
You have a search function on there.
Vince, it's a 500-word document. I can just look for it.
Okay.
Talk about something.
No, I won't talk about you looking for this for your...
Any other road stories, perhaps of that nature? Perhaps it may have involved you.
I got one as close to homosexuality as you can get.
Still looking?
I went, Vince, I came here for you to fuck me.
Wow.
You know what I mean? He's a big guy. I mean, you know, with a hard on. Between me and you, we're about together the size of Vince, and it was brutal, right? And I'm sitting there with loads of jizz in my hand.
That is true.
What was that?
The road will own you.
The road will own you, Vince.
Oh, yes.
Sheik doesn't like the,
He does not respect the fag.
He does not respect the little gays. I found the rules.
Oh, good.
There's 3 of them. You can knock your opponent out. You can make the man quit by saying mate. Or you can, quote, throw the fucker off the runway. That was the 3rd way to win.
Yes.
So the key was the whole movie was filled with men throwing fuckers off the runway and knocking them out. And then finally at the end, Frank Dukes made the big mean Chong Li say mate.
Oh, yes.
That was the end.
And it ended.
Yeah, it was a fine film.
I loved it. It made me happy. I couldn't stop smiling at one point.
This review we did tonight does not do justice to the review that I have written, nor does it do justice to the actual film.
More importantly, it does not do justice to the actual film.
Which is far superior to the reviews in print and in real life. So I suggest everybody right now go out to your local video store and rent Bloodsport. You will thank us for it.
We haven't even talked about the music yet.
Well, I figured I'd leave that for you. Because
this music was so awesome.
You are an 80s music mark.
If ordinarily I would never ask this question, but if anyone can come through with this, I know our board can.
God.
If anyone out there can hook me up with the Bloodsport soundtrack, you will have a friend for life. For life. Just every cheesy 80s movie song you ever heard. And I'm sitting there watching the credits, listening to the Kumte song, and I think to myself, wow, this sounds like Stan Bush, who is only famous, the only thing he's ever done that's famous is he did the Transformers soundtrack.
Oh, my.
And I'm sitting there watching
God, you're a geek.
And the credits roll, and sure enough, it's Stan Bush. So Stan Bush has done 2 things in his life. He has done Transformers, and he has done Bloodsport.
The goofiness that oozes from you sometimes.
God. I can't help but be me.
You know, it's funny because I watched the soundtrack is perfect for the movie.
Yes.
And I love the songs watching the movie. Mm-hmm. I do not need a soundtrack of these songs.
I demand I want these songs to play as I'm driving down the Hutt Freeway.
That explains so much about you, Vince.
This is good stuff. I need a big pair of just giant sunglasses. Yeah. It's a fantastic film.
You're such a geek.
Oh, yeah.
You know that?
Yes.
Well, at least you know, you know?
I'm perfectly aware. I tried not to be for a while and it didn't work out.
Well,
I just embrace it.
That's good. That's really all you can do is just embrace your absolute goofiness. And to want the soundtrack to the movie Bloodsport, I cannot think of anything dorkier than that. Except if you actually put out a request on the board for the soundtrack to the Transformers movie, I don't know what I'd do. And don't even do it, Vince. Just don't do it. Thank you.
I'll drop it.
Kids, tomorrow is the Pinnacle Pro Wrestling Show. If you're going to be in the area, we want you out there. I'll be there. Vince is going to be there. Craig's going to be there. Craig's bringing 2 of his wacky friends.
Is Bernard going to be there?
Buddy Wayne is going to be there. No, Bernard is not going to be there. Bernard loves WWE, that's it. He doesn't like UFC. He doesn't like Pride. He doesn't like indie grappling.
What's all Cena's going to be there?
Okay, let's call him. You lie to Bernard. You go call Bernard and tell him that some WWE stars are going to be there.
I don't have his number.
You see what happens at the end of the show. Bernard whips your ass.
He would have fun.
Puts you in a camel clutch.
He would not do that.
He probably would.
I don't think Bernard would do that.
No, he wouldn't. Craig might. Really think about it. If any of our friends were actually going to put us in the camel clutch, break our back, and then fuck our ass, who do you think it would be? I'm just stunned.
I plead the Fifth Amendment.
I am stunned at the drop that is going to be made. I'm looking at it now. Oops. But who do you think it would be?
I plead the Fifth Amendment.
And you know what's funny about this is Craig is going to be so irate.
Oh, yes.
when you said this, that he's going to show up tomorrow.
Suplex us.
Suplex him, put him in the camel clutch, break his back, and then fuck his ass.
Craig, we love you.
The best part about that, I shouldn't say the best part, but something I've noticed, you don't notice it the first time, but every time you listen to that, there's something else to laugh at. It's the way he puts the emphasis on the word then.
Yeah.
He says, then fuck his ass. Because you must suplex him, then put him on the camel clutch, then break his back, and then fuck your ass. Yeah. There's a procedure to this kind of thing.
Sure.
There's an order
Yeah.
of events that must be carried out. To,
Sure.
to do anything else would be a major social faux pas.
Well, you can't do it any other way. You would have to break the man's back first. In order to break his back, you'd have to put him in the camel clutch.
You don't have to break his back to fuck him in the ass.
Sure you do. You have to break my back to do it. I don't know about you. Good God.
Just pointing out.
We've learned something new about Vince today. You do not have to break his back first. Jesus.
If Tank Abbott, if Iron Sheik came over. No, never mind.
Yes? No, go ahead. I want to hear this one.
Are you telling me that unless your back, if your back was fully healed, you could fight off any man alive?
No, but I'd sure as hell try. You'd have to fucking break my back first.
You would try. If Mirko Cro Cop wanted to fuck you in the ass, you wouldn't have to break your back to do it.
No, he would. I'd keep fighting until I was incapacitated.
How about Fedor?
I would keep fighting until he'd broken my back. Especially Fedor. He's even larger. There's potential for more damage with the man.
Thank God for the Iron Sheik.
I think it's time to wrap this show up here. Kids, I want to thank everybody for listening. For those of you that are still listening to what has become just I don't even know what to say about this show here.
Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Vince.
Thank you, Sheik.
Thank you, Sheik.
Yeah, kids, I just want to say thank you for listening, and we will be back on Monday with a brand new Figure 4 Daily with the man who interviewed the Iron Sheik. And as we're closing out the music today, I'm just going to leave you with one more drop from Sheiky Baby. His thoughts on the state of politics in the year 2006.
I respect your country president, Mr. Bush, to send the people over there and they get even with that devil. Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was another killer like Hitler, like Osama bin Laden. I never respect Iraqi. I never respect the Saddam Hussein. And I didn't like even General Adnan to be my coordinator or to be my manager. I have a pride.
You know, it's kind of weird because...
What the hell was that?
I fucking hate that goddamn thing. Let me just explain this, because you're probably all going to hear this forever. I have this stupid fucking McAfee antivirus, and it came with my Dell computer. So it expired, and I renewed. And there's a deal where it keeps asking me to register. So I go to register, and it won't let me register. Because it says, I mean, it even says at the bottom, if you bought this through a Dell outlet, click here. Okay. And of course I click there, and nothing becomes of it. So this goddamn thing's going to come up till the end of time. And it drives me fucking crazy. That's what we hear on this show. But anyway, go ahead and talk about the Battle Royal.
It was long and boring, and the days of, in the Battle Royal would be the one chance you get to see all your favorite stars at one time. Well, that was back in the day. That was before stars like, I don't know, Funaki, Scotty Too Hottie, Jibinai, Big Vito.
Yeah.
It was just the leftover
I
crew.
don't even remember Big Vito being in there.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't. I don't know. I was pulling that name out. And then it came down to Lashley and Eminem, and then it was okay for a while. And then eventually Lashley won. And would you like to talk about Eminem and their manager?
I watched the last 5 minutes. You can confirm this with the mute on.
He couldn't take any more.
I hate that woman.
She screamed a lot.
Someone register IHateMelina.com. I hate this woman. I ban her from my television set, and if she were fired from WWE tomorrow, I'm sure she's a sweet girl, but I would be fine with that. I cannot handle the scream. I have nothing more to say.
Wow.
Move on. I know Tatanka was in the ring.
Tatanka was also in the Battle Royal.
That was very important. He was one of the final guys in the ring.
Tatanka is not very important. I'm sorry.
Well, he was one of the last 4 in the ring. There is some importance to that.
I disagree.
Vince, he was one of the last 4 in the ring, thus the company considers him important.
Well, the company may consider him important. I disagree.
I don't consider him important either, but he was one of the last fucking 4 guys in the ring. That's somewhat important.
Who are the last 4 guys in the Royal Rumble?
Ray, Randy, Hunter, and John Cena.
Wrong.
I don't give a fuck. Oh, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, well then it matters that Tatanka was one of the last 4 guys in this fucking match then, doesn't it? Go on. You don't understand what I'm talking about, the term important.
Okay, they think Tatanka...
Yes, I don't give a shit if you do.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
I'm getting hot
so
right
angry.
now. Melina fucking pissed me off.
I'm sorry. Okay, yes, Tatanka was in the last 4 guys, so apparently they think he's a big star and he's gonna make the money.
No. Let's just move on.
I don't know what you want me to say.
I want you to say nothing for a little while. Do you understand? Thank you. I'm hot. Hold on a minute, everybody. All right, we've opened up the blinds. A little cool air in, and everything seems to be better now. Kane and Carlito, I'll give you something to rant about.
Well, it wasn't as shitty as last week, I'll say that. It was not good, and the match itself did... I will admit, the match itself did absolutely nothing to make me want to see the tag match on Sunday. They went for the same finish where Carlito went for the springboard and Kane caught him, and then Carlito just yanked the referee in the way for the DQ. Kane ended up chasing Carlito to the back. He was stalking him back there when he was jumped by Carlito and Masters and Lance Cade and the other redneck.
Just a couple months after they did the angle breaking up Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch.
Trevor Murdoch, thank you.
They're just magically back together as pals.
They're just pals. Just you know, the Job Squad 2K6 all getting together to beat up Kane for a bit.
So they locked
They threw him in a closet.
They threw him in a room. Just a giant room.
They threw him in a room, shut the door, and put a forklift in the way.
And that's right. So then Big Show came.
Big Show arrived on the scene to save the day.
Big Show was like, I'm going to move this goddamn forklift. Actually, his exact... I've written it down here. He said, you in there? There's a forklift here. I'm going to try to move it. No keys. Hold on, man. I'm going to try to put it in neutral. Hold on. This was a dialogue he had to read.
Don't you want to see a show with Big Show and Kane traveling America and Big Show declaring everything he's going to do? I'm putting my socks in my suitcase now. My shirts.
The funny thing is
I'm closing the suitcase.
We didn't hear Kane answer.
No.
So we didn't even know if he was, in fact, in there.
No.
Anything could have been in that room.
Enough is enough. I've had it with these niggas.
Hell of a thing we've got going on.
Get your tickets now.
Snakes on a plane.
Snakes on a plane, everyone.
Whoever sent that, thanks for sending the shittiest connection. I don't know if that's my fault or if that's the fault of the...
I'm sure Sam Jackson and his friends are going to love that plug.
Snakes on a plane. There may have been snakes in the room, dude.
There may have been snakes on that. Yes, when they were recording that.
So to make a long story short, Big Show's pushing and shoving this wacky trailer, forklift, and up walks Kane.
He just moseys on up.
Sure. And Big Show's like, how'd you get out? And Kane goes, well, there's another door back there. As nonchalant as possible. Yeah. And Big Show's like, there's another door? Well, they're not very smart, are they?
No.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, no, this is good comedy. This is burying goofs for being goofs.
It was,
You're forgetting one key part where Kane walks up and taps Show on the shoulder. Show turns and looks at Kane, and then he by this point he moved the forklift. So he looks at Kane, and then he opens the door to make sure that Kane is in fact not in the room as well.
That's right.
So yes, Carlito and Chris Masters are goofs, total goofs.